Hello, is this working? I have not done a YouTube live in a really, really, really long time, and also my light is really dark. One second, is there anyone there? Is this working at all? Hopefully it is. I just gonna put my. Oh, there we go. Yay! Hello everyone. How are we doing? Did you enjoy it? That was mad. That was so cool watching it all back to back like that. I think having seen all the videos kind of trickle out over the last couple of months, actually sitting down and watching them back to back was quite an emotional moment for me. Hello everyone. Oh my gosh, loads of people here. Somebody asked me, feel free to ask any other questions and I'll try and answer them. I can't stay on here for too long because I have to do a lot of practice. But somebody asked if No Time for Caution is my favourite track. And yeah, I think it is. I think I love all of them, but there's something about No Time for Caution when you had the bass drum and the bells as well. It just kind of blew open my idea of what the organ could do. And it was one of the ones that took the longest to write. But I feel like I had such a fun time exploring the colours on that specific organ and then taking it around to organs all over the country and all over the world and seeing how I could make it kind of work differently there and replicate the bass drum sound, the bell sound without those stops. Really, really fun. Right, I need to keep up with this chat because there's so many people. How long do I practice a day? Says Summer Plays Weirdcore. It varies a little bit. Excuse me. I try and do about 3-4 hours. For a time, I was doing like 8 hours a day. That was during COVID when I didn't have to do quite as much other stuff. Now, if I'm lucky, I'll get 3 or 4. Not always the case though. When life gets in the way and other things take over, but I always try and do some each day. I think it's really important. Sometimes we don't feel like it. We all have those moments where we're like, nope, not in the mood. But I think even if you're in one of those moods, if you just say, right, I'm going to do, I don't know, 5 minutes, often that 5 minutes or half an hour turns into a longer practice session and you start having fun and realize actually you're doing it because you love it. Anna, if I have time on my way to Fairfield, can you check out the new public organ at Whitgift Shopping Centre? You know, I was going to do that, but it is such a busy day tomorrow that I've had to say I'm just going straight there and doing the concert. I'm really sorry about that. But I do want to go and play it at some point. Anyone who doesn't know, Whitgift Shopping Centre now has a pipe organ. I've already answered one of your questions, so I'm going to move around. But it's really hard to pick in questions. We have all seen your Bonobo performance. How was the after party? The after party was great fun. It was mad because I'd done an all-nighter practicing the night before and then was like doing another kind of all-nighter doing the concert and then going to this after party as well. But the adrenaline kind of kept me going through this. I shouldn't. Anyway, I was so excited about everything that I was doing Invisalign at the time. I was getting my teeth straightened. This is a really random story. Why am I telling you this? I was getting my teeth straightened and I'd taken my Invisalign out for the concert. And I was so excited in the like post-concert rush that I left my Invisalign in the dressing room and realized halfway through the after party and ran back to the Royal Albert Hall being like, I need to get this at 2 a.m. and it had just been put in the macerator. Very sad. Anyway, you didn't need to know that. Why do you slide forward on the pedal with the foot instead of just pressing down? You kind of you use your feet not just to like press, but because you're doing everything without looking at it, or most things without looking at it, you're feeling your way as you go. And so I tend to use that as my device to feel my way. I kind of slide a little bit. Everyone does it slightly differently. I know some organists who slide up to the sharps and flats and use them to check where they are and then slide back down again. I kind of do the reverse. It's a habit, I guess. Where do I go next? Oh, I've been working on some fun transcriptions, but I can't share them yet, but I will share them soon. What is the feeling playing Zimmer in an empty Albert Hall? It's amazing. I mean, a full Albert Hall is amazing in a different way. The sound is different because it soaks. Like if you have loads of people in there, it kind of absorbs sound a little bit. But when you are there in the middle of the night and you just have it to yourself with crew around and everything, it just feels like you are a child in a toy shop and you've just been let in and allowed to kind of run rampage. And I think it's really because these organs, like, they're huge and they can be so intimidating, and it can feel like you're kind of. When I was young, I used to sometimes think, "Oh, I'm not welcome here," and it just blows that idea out the window when you get to be there in the middle of the night by yourself and you can truly start to feel at home in a venue and with an instrument. And I think it's why I love performing at that hall so much because it feels like a part of me now. Yay! Um, so many questions. Did I get any return invitations to the US? Yeah, I'm actually going back to do another tour next year. So same time of year at Easter, I'm doing basically a month-long tour, and I'm playing at Disney Hall in LA, which I'm super excited about because it's an amazing organ that looks a bit like French fries, and then a couple of other venues as well. It's still kind of being finalised at the moment, but I'll be sharing information about that soon. Um, have I ever thought about doing a recital on the organ with the choir that I conduct? It's funny. Yeah, it is something I mean, I've done little bits and pieces. It's such a different part of the brain, and I sometimes feel like a little bit. Oh, if I'm jumping from organ to conducting, it's like I have to change character completely and change personality completely, and that can give you a little bit of whiplash. Um, I like doing it sometimes. I think in moderation, I would say. I quite like keeping them separate just because they are so different. It doesn't mean it's a no permanently though. Have I ever been to South America? I have not. It's on my list. How many times a week are at the Albert Hall? This is a really funny question. So I, in theory, am just there once a month. So that I have a monthly practice session in the middle of the night, and when I'm there, I am sort of splitting my time between preparing for upcoming concerts and also getting some filming done. So when I first started working as their associate artist, the whole point of the sessions was getting social media content for them and for me. And then it's kind of grown from there. So actually now it tends to be more regular. So like over the next month, I think I'm there 5 times or something ridiculous like that, just because it's a busy time. So it varies a little bit, but I try and keep the number of actual overnights to a minimum just because I need some sleep. I know it might not appear that I need sleep, but I do need some sometimes. How can I become an organist? Is it complicated? I love organs so much. Every time I hear your songs, I cry. Just start learning. Go and find an organist in a local church and say, I really want to learn the organ. And I bet you they will be keen to help because all organists are wanting to inspire another generation and introduce as many people as possible to our amazing instrument. So just go and ask, and you'd be surprised. What is my favourite stop? Ooh, on the Albert Hall organ. That's a really good question. I think I have 3. I don't know. I'm gonna say I have 3. The orchestral trumpet, because it is so fiery and brash and great. I also love the bass drum stop and the tubular bells. I just think they're so I love the fact that when you play them, people go, "Where's that noise coming from?" There's something really cool about that. Um, Will I be able to record a video session at the Mid Meloche organ? I recorded the whole thing. They're amazing. And I have so much video to sift through. I have a terabyte phone so that I can film videos, and I have used it all up because I filmed so many videos in America, and I'm gradually working my way through, but it takes a while. Oh my gosh, there are so many. I'm gonna work from the bottom. I'm coming to the Bridgewater for Samsung concert. How much have you played the Bridgewater organ before? I've played it a couple of times actually, but never in concert. And I'm really excited because the Poulenc works so well on an organ like that. Again, it's very fiery. It's not like a polite English organ. It's got a lot of edge to it, a lot of attack, which is exactly what you need for the Poulenc. And yeah, that piece is amazing. If you don't know it, go and have a listen to it. What surprised me the most about the Mid Meloche? I think the manual offer Clyde. They were like, this is the loudest stop. It's just insane. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's gonna be loud. And then it was literally louder than the rest of the full organ put together. That was extraordinary. And not like a sort of polite tuba. Like an English tuba is kind of a big, round, beautiful sound. This was like, and I loved it. Am I doing another album with the Pembroke Girls Choir this year? We haven't got one in the pipeline yet, but I do have an album coming out quite soon in some months. Can't remember how many months. And that is me playing the organ, but it's also got some Pembroke Choir. That's the chapel choir singing on it as well. Um, will I play these tracks at the concert at the RAH? Yes, I am playing all of the Interstellar tracks, including another one, actually. So I've done an arrangement, a transcription of Stay as well. And so I'll be including that. Anyone who came to the concerts in California, I did Stay for those. It also involves sticking a pencil in the keys to hold down a top C. And I always forget when I'm playing it live to then take the pencil out once I move on to the next piece. So in one of the concerts, the pencil was going in the beginning of the next piece. It's very funny. Would I ever consider doing a UK cathedral tour? Perhaps. Maybe. Winchester Cathedral's lovely. So many questions. Albert has a question. Tell me, Albert, do I have any choice as to what music you play during your proms this year? I do, and I'm playing Interstellar, and I'm playing some Philip Glass, and I've also I've commissioned a new piece by this amazing composer Olivia Bailey, pianist. Go and listen to her stuff on Spotify; she's fab. And also another piece that I've commissioned from a while back by Christina Arakelian, her Star Fantasy, and also her oh my gosh, Dreamscapes, DreamWorks, Dreamland. There you go. Knew it was Dream something, which I've been playing a lot in the last kind of 6 months or so. And I think people need to hear about her because she is a phenomenal composer. Which organ in the world would I like to play on? Oh my gosh. There are so many. Disney Hall has been high up on my list. Trouble is, my bucket list was Boardwalk Hall and the Wanamaker organ, and I've now played both of them, so I need to start a new bucket list, I think. Any tips, Cody says, for learning how to play pedals without having to look down all the time? Also, have I seen the Mormon Tabernacle? That is on my list. Thank you very much. With the whole learning how to play pedals thing, get someone to hold a book. How can I demonstrate this? I can't. Okay, you're just going to bear with me. I'm just going to use the little M&S. I love M&S Burritos. If you get someone to hold a book here while you're playing, so you actually physically can't see your feet, that really helps. But then it's just time. You have to be patient with yourself because it's a case of kind of training your brain. And I think it took me probably, I don't know, at least 5 years, 6 years before I started to feel comfortable kind of going by touch instead. Having said that, I did play the harp before, and we had to do the same thing on the harp, just in a slightly different way because the pedals do something different. Where did I study for uni? I was at Oxford. So I was at Magdalen College and I was the organ scholar there. So I was playing for 8 services a week, which was a lot of fun, if rather busy. You would like to meet me in Germany? I think I'm coming to Germany next year, possibly. Any upcoming collaborations with dance or trance artists? None in the pipeline yet, but very much open. I just love these things being like spontaneous and just happening because life is so full. You just have to take opportunities as they come, I think. Could I try voluntary in D minor from John Stanley? I have the biggest requests list in the world and I'm trying desperately to work through them all, but failing miserably because, again, there just isn't enough time. But I will put it on my list. In addition to my residency at the Royal Albert Hall and my position at Pembroke College, do I have a regular Sunday morning? Philip, I don't need another job. I can't do another one. So Pembroke does do Sunday morning services, and they're actually conducted by our junior organ scholar, Andriana. And I go and help out occasionally when they need an extra pair of hands. But Sunday morning tends to be my morning off, my only morning off in the week, and I desperately need it. So come back to Dundee. I would love to. I would also love to play that organ properly because it was slightly stressful when it broke last time. Am I going to play at the last night of the proms? I'm not, but I do have my own kind of late night prom, which is going to be really fun. As a student, did I study maths too? I did. I did A-level maths. I don't know, Richard, if you are from England or from the US or from somewhere else. But yeah, I did it just before university. I studied maths and I sometimes have stress dreams about it. Do I know John Newman, the singer-songwriter? I do know John Newman. He's fab. Have I played the organ in Poland? No, I have not. My video of the tourist singing Amazing Grace, playing along with him, still brings a tear of happiness. Oh, thank you so much, Spooky. Yeah, that was an amazing moment. This is why I love music, though, because it's just these things that happen totally spontaneously, and you never know when they're going to happen. And that's why I've just taken to leave. The reason I've filled up 1 terabyte of phone storage is I just leave my phone filming constantly when I'm rehearsing, and you just see what you capture. Um, during my US, I can't speak. I need a bit more of my. I promise this is a non-alcoholic G&T. How's that? Mm. During my US visit, did I limit my organ visits to the keyboards or did I tour the pipes? So the big day when I did both of the huge organs, I went inside and got to see. I mean, the Wanamaker organ, the string division is just extraordinary. This room of just string pipes everywhere, and yeah, it was almost overwhelming seeing that much instrument. It was really cool. Why do I always use that reed stop in almost every track? Because I like it. Does the Albert Hall organ have some strings? Yes, you hear them at the beginning of the Chevalier and also at the beginning of Cornfield Chase. It's got some beautiful strings. Oh my gosh, it keeps like scrolling back down again because I'm being too slow. Do I have an ARCO or an FRCO? I do have an ARCO. Yeah, I did it towards the end of my time at Oxford, and then life took over and the real world took over, and so I never got around to doing my FRCO. But it's I would always say it's definitely worth doing at least one of them. I would say. Okay, wait, I'm going to scroll up a little bit. Does anything meet beating? Sorry, let's try it again. Does anything beat meeting Benedict Cumberbatch? No. Is it somehow possible to support you in your awesome work financially? Oh, that's really, really sweet of you. Go and stream the EP. Genuinely, it does. I know there's all this stuff about streaming, but genuinely, it does help. And it reminds everyone that actually people do like organ music, and it makes it possible for me to keep recording more. On a personal note, how does this famous life sit with you after this time? I kind of don't think about like fame is I don't think about that as a concept. I think just am like, oh, people like the organ. That's cool. And it's slightly surreal then having like big rich people coming to concerts and things like that. But you just have to stay grounded or try and stay grounded. And I think my work at Pembroke helps with that a lot when you're kind of doing a concert to 5,000 people and then photocopying the next day. It really helps. But yeah, I think you just have to stay true to what you believe in and what matters to you. And that's kind of my mentality. Oh my gosh, so many questions. How long does it take to get used to the layout of different organs? Good question. A long time. Sometimes, say if you're playing two Harrison and Harrison organs in different venues, they can be quite similar and have a kind of slightly standardized layout, which makes life a little bit easier. But other than that, I mean, it can be totally different. I say that it's like learning to drive on the other side of the road or going from, I don't drive. I don't know why I always use car analogies because I don't drive, but like going from an automatic to a manual. Is that a good analogy? It's a huge shift. And so when I'm doing a recital, I always insist on having about 6 hours time to register, to set up all my sounds, and then another 6 hours to bed that in so that it can become muscle memory as opposed to having to worry about it the whole time. I mean, one of the organs I was playing in Palo Alto when I was in California, that had all of the kind of pistons you needed to press were in like really wacky places. So sometimes I had to stretch my right leg right over there while playing. And you just have to be able to build that into the muscle memory so that you don't have to worry about it while you're playing. What was the worst organ I played on? I don't like to think about it in those terms because genuinely I tend to try and see it always as a bit of an adventure. Although I do remember I was asked to play Vidor for something, Vidor Staccato for something, like a little service, and I turned up and it was the shortest pedal board in the world, which was slightly stressful. Had to change all the music. What other A levels did I do? Says Isaac. I did religious studies. My dad is a priest or was a priest before he retired. And I also did maths and music and biology. Do I know the organist Jonathan Harris? I don't think so. Where did I get to? I've lost it. Where did I just get to? How do you find the right fingering when you start a piece that you've never practiced before? That's a good question. Trial and error a little bit. It depends. I learn pieces in different ways depending on what they are. Sometimes if I'm being impatient, I'll like try and play it through from start to finish. And then I say to myself, "You're being silly. Go back, work slower, and work out fingerings that work now and write them in because it will save you so much time in the long run." I'm quite obsessive is the wrong word, but I like writing in at least the important fingerings, and I find it really helps with the process of learning a piece. So, have I made any transcriptions from the music of Vangelis? I never know how to say his name. Vangelis, one of those. I've done Chariots of Fire, but that's it. Um, um, so many questions. Someone else has asked, is it difficult moving between different organs? Yeah, it is, but you kind of get used to it, and it's part of the fun after a while. And you also learn tricks for each piece that are going to help with registration. So, like, I have got quite used to at the Albert Hall having a stepper where you press plus and it takes you on to the next sound. But then actually, quite a lot of the play we do more recently has been on organs that don't have that. So the album recording I did, the organ didn't have a stepper. And so you start figuring out little tricks along the way to make your life easier so that there's a button in the right place when you need it. Is my today released EP just available via streaming? Yes, it is, but the album, the full album, which is coming out, it's none of the same music, but maybe some related music. That is going to be released on streaming, but also as a CD. I've got the hiccups, I'm talking too much. Favorite key to play in? D flat major. I need to record an EP on the Wanamaker organ, Midnight at Macy's. Oh, that's a good idea. Is that a leather jacket? It is. Have I played the Blackpool Tower organ? I have not. How do I choose which pieces to transcribe? You know what? It's genuinely what I feel like transcribing. And I love it because this is what I used to do as a kid. I used to sit there at the piano at night in the evenings and just write transcriptions of my favorite film soundtracks. And now I'm just doing that as a career. That's quite fun. Coming to my concert in June at the Albert Hall. Yay! I've lost who it was. Sorry, it scrolled again. MN is coming to the concert. Oh, I'm looking forward to it too. It's going to be really fun. Okay. Am I ever going to come and do a concert in Ireland? You are great. Help with music on iTunes. Oh, thank you, Barry. I can't remember if I'm doing anything in Ireland, but I would love to because I love Ireland. I haven't been for a very long time. Have I ever performed in North Wales? I do not think so. Has there been an organ that when you played it for the first time totally blew your mind with its sound? Yes, Dennis. Albert Hall, every time. And also actually the Wanamaker and the Boardwalk Hall organ. I've ticked off the bucket list now. Sorry, I'm trying to read and I don't know what to say while I'm reading. So, coming from pop electronic music, which piece of organ music would you recommend? So, one of my favorite pieces when I was starting out, two favorite pieces when I was starting out, were the Toccata by Eugene Gigout. So that's Gigout, Gigout, his Toccata. That's really fun. And also the Bullman Toccata. So he is Boellmann, I think. Is it two N's or one N? Can't remember. Anyway, great pieces and really kind of exciting and kind of a good way to get going. But I'd also recommend listening to some Philip Glass. His Mad Rush is a fab piece of music and very kind of electronic music-y. How much does jet lag impact organ play? I'm a little bit jet lagged at the moment. It's more, I think there's something that happens as a musician where you just like shut off that side of your brain when you need to for performances. And so like when you're doing an overnight at the Albert Hall, for example, you don't experience tiredness while you're doing it because it's like you're there to do a job and you just like are too excited and they're like, whoa, this is fun. And the adrenaline keeps you going. Coming back from the US, I have found the jet lag getting up in the mornings has been a little bit tricky. And my brain feels a little bit more fuzzy than normal. And yeah, I'm doing a concert tomorrow and then a whole run of concerts next week. So I guess we will find out. Do I listen to any other organists? We have some very good ones. I love Gert Van Hoof. I never know how to say his name. I'm really bad at speaking. I also, I'm a massive Cameron Carpenter fan. I think he is such a fantastic player and such a great ambassador for the instrument. I have a huge amount of love and respect for Gillian Weir and everything she has done to bring the instrument into the public consciousness. There's also this amazing young organist, Thomas Mellon, who again, no idea if I'm saying his name right. I think maybe it's Mellan. But he is fab and I love all his videos. Wesley Hall, great friend of mine on TikTok. I love listening to his stuff. It's just I listen to a whole range of people as and when they kind of crop up, and it's nice to hear really different ways of doing things and sort of take little bits from each and incorporate them into your own playing. Okay, I'm gonna do another 10 minutes and then I have to go and do some work and practice. Okay, I'm gonna go down to the bottom again and then scroll back up. Oh no, these are hard questions now. Um, 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 what are the best seats at the Royal Albert Hall to listen to a concert? If you want to hear the organ like full pelt, go and sit right at the top. It's a little bit like if you get vertigo, maybe don't sit up there, but it's an amazing sound because all the sound goes up. Um, Someone, Pedro, is coming from Lisbon to the London concert in June. Yay! Oh, I'll give you a wave. How is my tremendous wave of success affecting your work? I love the way you phrase that. It's always a challenge trying to juggle everything, and it's always been a challenge all the way through life because I love doing loads of different things. I love variety and I love being busy. So yeah, juggling that can be difficult, and the amount of like emails you get in a director of music role is huge, and I am not very good at keeping on top of them, although I try my best. But I, as I said before, I see the Pembroke side of life as so crucial to who I am as a musician, and I adore working with the singers there in the chapel choir and in the girls' choir, and I love how they make me they push me as a musician constantly, and I wouldn't be doing any of what I'm doing without their help, encouragement, and support. So yeah. Um, 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 do I ever get to play theatre or cinema organs? I actually got to play some in the States for the first time and I loved it. There were so many fun little things to play with. Although it's a very, very different skill. And I did get to play House Training Dragon while one of them rose up through the floor. That was quite fun. Looking forward to the June concert coming from Tours in France. Oh, looking forward to seeing you there. Did the Boardwalk Call guys made you visit all the chambers? We went round not quite all of them, but nearly all of them, and it was. But they also gave me the best lunch first, so I was burning it off. It's time for a PA. Yep, that would make my life a lot easier. What's the most emotional music you enjoy to play? That's a hard question. It depends on my mood, I think. I find Cornfield Chase quite emotional. I think, but pieces attract memories. That's one of the lovely things about them. As you're playing any piece, you're thinking about sometimes thinking back to other times you played it and little things that have happened along the way. And yeah, I think that so Cornfield Chase is probably one of the most emotional ones. Okay, I'm gonna do like 5 more questions. When I'm playing an organ the size of the organ at the Albert Hall at full volume, does it bother your hearing? It's funny with the Albert Hall because the sound goes up. Most of it doesn't come to the console. Actually, there's a funny thing that happens when occasionally they put a big screen in front of the organ because they've got like projecting a film onto it or something, and then all the sound comes back to the console and it's like 5 times as loud. So you kind of don't realize how much is going up and over. Some organs are louder at the console than others, and then it can occasionally hurt a little bit, and you want to just take it easy. And I wear earplugs sometimes, but it varies. I really want to perform at the Royal Albert Hall, says Albert. And do you have any advice before attempting to perform as a musician and any musician in general? Ooh. Don't be scared of being scared because it's like everyone goes through being nervous about performing in one way or other, and it's still something that I get. It varies a little bit on performance to performance, and it makes no sense. Like sometimes you're playing to 5,000 people and you're like, I'm not nervous at all, and so then you're playing to 10 and you're like, oh, I'm so scared. So don't be scared of being scared. You'll learn to become more comfortable with it. And then remember, it's all about having fun. And when you can have fun on stage and take risks, that's when some of the most exciting music making happens. I love to see you counting down up when you played with. Oh, I've lost it. Where did it go? Bonobo, it showed you to be normal. Don't change your dress code. When I see someone wearing red, I know it's Hannah Laprid. Thank you so much. Yeah, I count out loud. I did the same. I was rehearsing Sanson today, and I was doing exactly the same thing because it's funny. Any musician will probably sympathize with this. When you're counting hundreds of bars rest, your brain starts to play tricks on you, and so you'll be like 11, 2, 3, 4, 16, and then you'll be like, hang on a minute, am I at 17 or 12? And so I always do out loud counting, or at least I move my lips. And I also use my fingers at the same time if I'm doing lots and lots of rests so that I have something to fall back on. But I also write in cues so I can, even though I know the piece and I know when I need to come in, I like to follow along just so that if something goes wrong, I can be prepared. Am I still riding the wave from the Bonobo concert? I feel like it's still very much there, and I'm still getting people coming to concerts and things as a result, which is nuts. And occasionally I'll go back and watch the video and have a little cry. It was crazy. It was one of the best experiences of my life, and yeah, what a nuts thing. Okay, 5 more things. I know I said that before, but do I still do the Royal Albert Hall? I do. In fact, I'm going back there very soon, and I'm very excited. How do I find time to direct the choir, arrange pieces for choir and organ, program the organ, and record full tracks and short videos? Do I sleep or eat? Yeah, I like being busy. I really like being busy, and in term time, I am very, very busy. In the holidays, I'm less busy, and I can kind of do things in chunks. So I have a chunk of 4 weeks where I'm mostly doing choir things, and then a chunk of 4 weeks where I'm mostly doing organ things. And yeah, you find a way to make it work. Have I ever played Also Sprach with a full orchestra? I have. I played it with a full orchestra going straight into the Chanson. So the final chord of Also Sprach became the first chord of the end of the Chanson, which is quite fun. Do I prefer playing classical or moving music? I don't think I could do one without the other. I love both in different ways. I love the freedom that moving music I feel brings. And I love then going back to classical music, having been playing moving music, because I feel more confident as a player. That it's quite hard to explain, but yeah, that's a rather nice thing. Okay, 2 more. I'm scrolling down again. Can we get the Royal Albert Hall to sell tickets for my midnight practice sessions? You know what? We would love to do that. It's a bit of a security thing, I think. And yeah, and so we will be doing this late night concert at the Proms, which is going to be like the closest we can get to an actual midnight practice session. But yeah, it's a cool idea, isn't it? One more. Oh, I don't know which one to take. Okay, this is the one I'm taking. Can you tell us how your music changes page to page on cue? I can. I use my face. So I go like this, and it's got a facial recognition thing, and it can see when I want to turn the page. It doesn't always work, and you have to like practice in the venue with the lighting you're going to have and make sure that doesn't mess it up, because sometimes I've had it where if there's moving lights and things, it thinks your face is moving and it starts turning pages and you're like, nope. And you can also turn the page back with the other side. So you go like that. And I do find now if I'm playing, I use the iPad for basically everything now. If I'm ever playing without the iPad, I've started when I get to the end of the page going like that and expecting it to tear, which is quite bad. There we go. I need to go and do some practice now and catch up on some emails. But this was really, really fun. We should do this again. Thank you all. Oh my gosh, there are so many of you. Thank you all for coming. Have a lovely rest of evening. Go and enjoy your drinks. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my... By the way, this is not an advertisement, but clean gin, non-alcoholic gin, life-changing. It's great stuff. Have a lovely evening, everyone. I need to figure out how to turn this off because I'm not very good at this. But have a lovely evening and see you all soon.